Hi all. It is 4 minutes till start, and so I thought I'd open this up a couple minutes early so people can jump on and fill this awkward silence, just chatting about who knows what. We're excited. We have a full house today, and this is our first attempt at a webinar using this platform, so we'll see how it goes. If you have any questions during the webinar, you are free to submit them using the Q&A box likely at the bottom of your screen, depending on how you're configured. And we also have a list of questions that were submitted in advance. Hey, Joe.
Hello, Robin.
How are you?
Good, good. How are you?
I'm good. But you know that we talked a few minutes ago.
Yeah, that's true. I was just doing for the cameras.
I know. This lovely, awkward, what do you say bit in the beginning while you're waiting for people to jump on.
The 3-minute warm-up.
Yeah. I'm going to record this with Loom as well, just so we have a backup. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how many things today I say that you try to give me a subtle signal. Nope, not how stop! Y'all should expect that today, that I will start saying something and it will be not what he I am not seeing how to mute. Everyone should be muted upon entrance, so that is a great question. Is anyone else not muted? You can answer in the chat, which there's a button across the bottom of your screen for that. Not sure. So I'm wondering if I'm going to log in from another computer and see what Zoom says.
I think Angie is happy.
Oh, I talked and you couldn't hear me. Okay, awesome. Yes, it could be a little hectic having 200 people speaking over each other. Hey, Shannon, how are you? But I only see Robin and Jim. Joe, I think you mean. I'm muted, but I don't see.
I'll take Jim.
Yeah, we'll share a screen in a little bit. Oh, this is fun. We can see where people are coming in from, which is pretty much everywhere, and so many names I recognize from customer support and all the places. Our website, Laura from Oklahoma. Oh, I'm going to want to.
Tamara from Washington is on the
And
Q&A.
Joe's going to say, really? Right?
What's that?
I said, I'm going to want to do more of these. And you might.
Oh, right. No, I'm sure this will be great.
Yeah, Rebecca's from New Jersey and Jessica, California. And so, we are actually on opposite coasts. Actually, the Homeschool Planet team is literally all over the country. Florida, Ohio, Southern California, Northern California, North Carolina. Joe's in Massachusetts, just outside Boston. We are all about. I'd like to see how to print each student's weekly assignments. Ooh, we will show you a couple ways to do that. It is officially noon, so I'm going to go ahead and start and give a really brief intro, and then we'll jump into what we're doing. On your screen to the left is Joe DeStefano, who is our chief engineer and the author of the gazillion lines of code of Homeschool Planet. It's been his baby from the beginning. And all the things that it can do, you have Joe to thank. I'm Robin Calvi. I run most of the day-to-day operations at Homeschool Planet, and we're super excited to have you all join us and see so many of you from so many different places. I think we'll jump right in. I'm going to share my screen. The format, we're just going to kind of show you some basics with Homeschool Planet and try to run through the run-throughs. And then after that, we will try to get through the questions that were submitted ahead of time first, if we haven't touched on them in the demo. When I start saying something Homeschool Planet doesn't do or does differently, Joe's going to, give the cut, not accurate information. I am still learning. We get tickets in that sometimes I'll look at and think, do we do that? And I find out we do, or I get tips from our user guide, or not our user guide, our user group. If you are not part of the Facebook user group, it's a tremendous resource. Our users, you guys are the best and so terrific at helping other people, other users figure out how to do things. And we would love to have you join that group if you aren't part and benefit from it. And if you ever have a question straight for us, the only thing we ask is tag us because we don't see it. Facebook has interesting methods of ordering things, I guess I would say. But I am going to share. Oh, I just realized I'm going to share this. There we go. So you should all now be able to see, this is my personal Homeschool Planet account. And let me tell you, my girls love that I use this for demos and put all the things in, and so they don't know what's actually going on. When you open a Homeschool Planet account, really the first thing to do is to set up a calendar for the year. And so I already have mine for this year, but I'm going to set up one for next year just to show you how it's done. It's as easy as going to settings, school year, and vacations. And so you're going to click add another school year. This automatically knows to add the next year. It also knows roughly what I've done in the past. And so I'm going to say we will next year start on August 23rd. We will work roughly through the end of May, and I see that's 202 school days. But of course, I haven't taken out any of my vacations or holidays. If I want to add holidays, I'm always going to add holidays in the United States, and it's going to tell me that it's going to mark those automatically as off, and I can override that decision if I'd like to, or leave it. So there's Labor Day marked off for me. We're going to do school all through September, October. This is Thanksgiving in our home. We take off all of Thanksgiving week. And even though I have a son that's a veteran, because we take off all of Thanksgiving week, we're not going to take off Veterans Day. For Christmas, I'm going to look and see, okay, it's a Saturday. So that means I'm going to take off this here, and you see my count is adjusting as I add or remove days. I'm going to go through, I'm going to say, I usually like a February break, but I figure out first where I want to take out, and I would like to see where Easter is, because I'm going to have friends who are off that week. Oh, we don't have those holidays up yet, do we, for a year in advance, Joe? Doesn't it load the year before?
2022, yeah, those are not yet available. Sorry.
Okay, so I could look it up, but I'm just going to pretend it's the 17th. So I'm going to take off a week in April, which means I'm going to count back 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to take off this week in February. And then I'm going to go through, I'm going to take off Memorial Day. That leaves me with 175 school days. I'm good with that. That works for me. And then I'm actually going to also say I want 2 semesters. In my home, I do a shorter semester and a longer semester because I like to get my fall semester finals done before Christmas break. And so I'm actually going to go in here and set the 24th as the last day. And so I have uneven semesters, and I'm fine with that. It doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, that's the beauty of Homeschool Planet. You can set up your calendar any way you like. You can say you want to do school on Saturdays. In our home, that wouldn't work. So once your calendar looks the way you want it, has semesters, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different, either semesters, terms, quarters, periods. You just hit save, and then that school year is ready in your calendar. Did I get anything wrong?
Nope, looks great.
Woo, so far. I'm going to now add a fake student because my girls are already added to this, and I'm actually also going to show you how to archive one. So if you go to the My Family section, which you can customize, I am going to add a student. So I'm going to add Catherine, because we made the wonderful decision to call our 5th child by her second name, just to make everything confusing. And I'm going to say that she is in the 8th grade. So I'll choose grade 8. She likes the color lavender, so I'm going to make that her color. I would normally type in her real address, but I'm going to give her an address of Catherine at not her real email.com for now. And I'm going to tell the system I want her to get a daily digest, meaning every morning she'll get a report of the work that is due for that day. I'm going to upload a photo of her. Boom. So that she sees her pretty little smiling face when she looks at her assignments. And this will be quicker for you when you're not in a Zoom and a Loom at the same time recording. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Love technology. Well, we hope all of you are okay with customer service. My feed for my neighborhood was blowing up today because apparently huge chunks of FiOS were out. And then you can just chop what you want. I'm going to go like that. This is on the way home from the orthodontist after getting braces off 3 months later than expected. And there, now she's added to my account. So I'm going to save it. And there she is. Carolyn, my daughter, graduated. And so I want to obviously keep all her records, but I don't need her in my day-to-day calendar. I don't need to see her all the time. So I'm going to click this, which is remove. And then I have 2 options. I can archive her, meaning I will keep all her classes, all her grades, all the things she's done, or I can say, see you so long, and remove all her data. I think I'll go ahead and archive. And now if you notice, her name is italicized, which tells me her work is archived like Matthew's is. And then I hit save and close. And now I have a new student. I'm wondering if I should stop and ask any questions about adding people as I do them. What do you think, Joe? Or are you seeing questions as they come in?
I am, although it's hard to see the chat as it comes in for me for some reason. But
Got it.
Q&A, I can see those questions coming in. I'm not sure what process you want to use.
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep going. And hopefully you can flag me down if I'm going too fast, too slow. It's hard to know. We have really experienced users and new ones. But now I have a school calendar. It's also hard to know, the camera's here, but I'm seeing people here. We have a school year. I have students. So now I can add some classes. And lots of people want to know the difference between classes and lesson plans. And I'm actually am going to pass that off to you for a more technical answer, Joe.
Say that all again. I was reading the Q&A.
Sorry. But we get asked a lot the difference between classes and lesson plans. Do you want to give the technical answer and then we'll show them how it works?
Yeah, sure. So classes are scheduled on your calendar for specific dates. They have specific students associated with them, attached to them, and they record grades and all of that. Whereas a lesson plan is the assignments that you will use to create your classes on your calendar. It's sort of like just a staging area for your assignments and classes, or for things that you want to use year after year after year. So you can put them all in order, you can lay out the assignments, you can attach resources to it, and then when it comes time to plan out your schedule, you can apply the lesson plan to your calendar, which will create a specific class on specific days for specific people that you can then use to manage your school year.
Awesome. And I'm going to apply a variety of things today because I have well, I have 6 kids, and so that means the younger children end up doing similar things to what the older children have done. And so I'm going to apply a couple types of lesson plans. I'm going to start with one of our purchased lesson plans, which my girls are using Think Well Math. So I have purchased our Think Well Algebra 1 lesson plan. So I'm going to go to my lesson plan library, which is found here. Then I'm going to hit apply this lesson plan. I want to create a new class. I'm going to say next. This is something people love. You have the option to, if it's the beginning of the year, I'm just going to apply all the assignments in the lesson plan. But let's pretend I switch math curriculum, or I discover there are lesson plans in February and I'm already through the year. I can choose to only select certain assignments. So if I was all the way in, and let's say it's day 105, I want lesson plans to start appearing, I can just do that. It will gray out everything I'm not applying. Or if conversely I say, I want all the days, but I am a mom that doesn't believe in testing or doesn't believe in final exams, I can go in and tell it, nope, don't give those tests or don't give those quizzes, or I can select from the pre-done list whichever assignments I want. In this case, Juliana's doing it all because she needs some good Algebra 1 training. So I'm going to select all assignments in the lesson plan. I'm going to select next. I'm going to make this category math. And I'm going to say, this is the thing I think I see personally the most in people's accounts is they tend to have a lot of subjects. This is clearly not a subject, so I'm going to delete it. But, oops, what did I do, Joe?
I do not know.
I do not know either. So we'll go back into that. I probably shouldn't delete subjects in the middle. Keep your subject names simple. And what I mean by that is Algebra 1 isn't a subject. Algebra 2 isn't a subject. Math is a subject. Foreign language is a subject. And you'll find when you're creating, when you're managing your schedule, when you're creating, I'm not going to update that right now. When you are creating a lesson plan or a transcript or a grade report, it's easier if your subject names are the overarching subject and then your classes have names like Algebra 1, Algebra 2, Geometry. All right, let's see what I did and try this again. Apply the lesson plan, create new. We already said I want all. I'm going to name this math because it is math. I'm going to assign this to Juliana. I'm going to hit next. I want this to be for the next school year. Well, it turns out that the number of days of lessons are more than are in my school calendar. I think that's because there are 180 days in this plan, and my year this year is all 174 days. So I could bump the year out to June 4th, or I could say that at the bottom option is just use what fits and then drop them. Well, that would drop her final exam, and that's not going to happen in our house. So I'm going to double up in the beginning so they all fit well, because I know that's the first chapter of math that is largely review. Do I want grading? I do. This plan has suggested grading. So if you are a non-grader, or if there's grading in your second grader spelling class and you think that's silly, I don't need to give grades, you just click no. But Algebra 1 in high school is getting some grades. I could choose to use their titles, but I'm going to name lessons homework. I know this curriculum well. I give a quiz score for the review worksheets. The quizzes are also, well, quizzes. Chapter tests, I'm going to call just tests, not chapter tests. Midterm, I'm going to term exams, and final, I'm going to call exams. Then I'm going to hit next. I'm going to give Juliana 30% of her grade will come from exams, 30% will come from tests, 20% will come from quizzes, and 20% from homework. And I click OK. And then I give it a couple seconds. And now here's her math mapped out for the entire year. Boom. Anything you feel like I should throw in about putting in a pre-done lesson plan, Joe?
Some people like to apply like a block of the lesson plan to the calendar and not the whole thing at once. And if you go back later and just apply the lesson plan and apply it to an existing class, it will figure out which ones you've already put in and automatically grade those out for you, so you can just apply the next
Right. Yes.
block of it.
So that is me using a pre-done lesson plan. Now, Juliana, she's probably upstairs hearing me say her name every 20 seconds thinking, Mom. But she is also going to use Fascinating Biology this year, and her sister did it 2 years ago. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look, and I'm going to go back, because I know that Hope took that class in August of 2018. And while I love reinventing wheels, I am not going to reinvent this one. I know orange is biology. So I'm going to take this class that Hope took back and started in August of 2018. I'm going to click the title, which then brings up some options. I could save it, and I could create a lesson plan on it and do my editing there. I already know it's roughly what I want, and I can make any changes in editing mode in a moment. So I'm going to say, make a copy of this class. I want all assignments, including, yes, the ones that are done, because hopefully Hope did them all. I'm going to hit next. I'm going to assign this to Juliana. I'm going to hit next again. I do want it for 2020, 2021. My class has been copied. Verify the schedule and assignments, starting end date. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to look at the start date. We're actually going to start on the 24th. That works. And end here. I'm going to make her week's worth of work due on Fridays, because I allow her to, you can work at any pace. You can get it all done on Monday. You can parse it out through the week. You can complete it on Friday. So I'm actually going to go to selected days of the week. I'm going to click Friday. I'm going to unclick Monday. It's going to shift everything around for me. I'm going to look through. I see each day has a login where it tells her where to go, and it has a quick listing of what she needs to do. I'm going to hit save and close. Then I'm going to go to today. Oh, I bet it's not today. We're not starting school till August. Now I have Juliana's math and her science logged through the week. Any questions? Joe, any thoughts on taking someone's old classes like that I should touch on?
No, I think that was pretty good.
Okay. And again, if you decide, wait, there are some big picture adjustments, I'd rather look at it in the lesson plan calendar. Any class you have, you can select and make a lesson plan based on this. You can add timing and all sorts of things, but I'm trying to stay with most basics. Then this is a class I'm already working on, and this is a US history class. And so you'll notice these little green, these are links. So if you select this link on Prince Henry, it takes you to a YouTube video about Prince Henry that I've embedded for students to watch. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to add a fake link again, something my children love. So let's do it on the first day. So if I decide I want my children to watch some type of video on this day, I need to make this obvious. So random demo video. Hopefully that will clue my kids in this is not real. I'm going to hit here. I'm going to add a website. And it's going to bring me up a link so I can just put in that site. In the meantime, I'm going to go here. I'm going to say, I want them to watch a video on the industrial economy, crash course history. I'm going to copy that link. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to put it in the URL. I'm going to say, do not watch for real. Again, just, you'd be shocked how many times my kids are like, Mom, what have you done? I'm going to hit save. I'm going to hit save and close. And now that's a link on the first day of history class. And when they launch it, it takes them straight to that video. Or in this case, an advertisement to get to the video. But at any rate, you can similarly, if you're in editing mode, upload a resource. If I've written out the rubric for a writing assignment, sometimes I'll upload that as a PDF. You can add them, you can remove them, you can do untold additions that make it easier. I'm going to start a class. Obviously, my kids need to take language arts. So I'm going to start a class from scratch here. So I'm going to say class. I'm going to pick a subject of language arts. I'm going to pick a title. Mom's Demo is this year's English class. I'm going to assign this to both Hope and Juliana at the same time. So it's a shared plan. And then there are some things I know that we're going to do every week. And so I want those to be auto-populated, and then I'll put in the specific assignments. So I could just say on every day, read, and hit add, and it would add read to every day. But I need something a little more advanced than that. So I'm going to go to more options. I can either repeat the same assignment. I love this, make the bed. I can put in a book, which I'll do in a minute, and have it break it up for me. I can say my assignments follow a pattern, or I have a specific number and it'll, so if you have 130 school days and 180 math lessons, it will parse those out for you. I am going to say my assignments follow a recurring pattern. And so we're going to start on the first day, end on the last day. And then I have this. I have my kids do a journal writing assignment of their reading every Tuesday and Thursday, so days 2 and 4. So I'm going to say journal with a colon, but I'm going to try to spell it right. And on these days, I am also going to say, let's pretend there is a worksheet for the lesson. This isn't how I actually teach. So this is actually not my real plan, but we're going to pretend to show you what we can do. You do a journal. We're going to say you read the chapter. Yeah, that's going to bug even me. So we're going to read the chapter on the first day. We're going to complete worksheets on the next. And we're going to take the test. So I can see down below that it shows read chapter 1, and I've put a colon in because I want to put the name of the chapter. Now, maybe I decide, yeah, chapter 1's good enough. I'm just going to get rid of that colon and just leave it at read chapter 1. The following Monday, it'll say read chapter 2, read chapter 3. Now, I want to add a reminder because sometimes the girls don't remember, or maybe this is a science lesson plan and I need to order materials, or I need to get the book from the library. So in this case, I'm going to say, I want to be reminded via email 5 days before, and I'm going to add a message, pick up book from dad. I don't know why I'm saying that. I'm really bad at thinking of random things off the fly, apparently. So every 5 days before each new chapter, it's going to tell them to pick up the book from their dad. I don't know why. Their journals I can put in, complete worksheets, test. I can add another day to the pattern. I could have picked fewer. I can upload a PDF I have. I can say, actually, on the day you have a test, we're going to add a second assignment. You're not only going to do the test, you're going to, what else might you do, Joe? Oh, submit work to me for grading. Bam. So then once I do this and I click OK, my entire year has been populated out with this pattern. So I'm going to say journal, whatever the topic is, depending on what the book they are reading is. I can also, if I know, I'm going to save and close. And now I'm going to actually go back in. And I know that I'm just going to grab the first book off my shelf that I see. Oh, and it's a good one. It's Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, which is like a gazillion pages. It is actually, let's see, you'd think I could get to the end of a book a little quicker, 732 pages. So I obviously don't want to sit down and calc that all myself like I used to when I had books that I only had a paper planner. So I'm going to hit more options. I'm going to say I have a long reading. I am going to let my kids start this book. We're going to give a week before we give a book, and they are going to be allowed, oh, I can just go here instead. They get 20 school days to read this book. So the first page, let's see if it actually starts on page 1. It does. And the last page is 732. I'm not going to skip any days in between assignments. I'm just going to click next. And now it knows to do pages 1 through 37, 38 through 74, and it will break it up by page number. And I'm going to click OK. And then those are going to be put in like that. Now, I suddenly realized, yeah, this book actually has chapters. So I'm not a big fan of how I did this. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to find anything that has pages. And I am going to delete them. Did I do that right, Joe? Is that going to delete the whole entry or just the word pages?
Sorry, again, I was answering questions in the Q&A. I'm paying attention to
I'm going to see what it does, and then we'll know. Oh, yeah, no, I did that totally wrong. So I should have waited.
Delete selected items rather than replace?
Oh, because I had everything selected, and I didn't hit selected items. I deleted everything I had selected. Okay, let's add it by chapters instead. So, which is what I want to do, but I didn't want to delete everything. Yikes. Okay, this book is, hopefully it has chapter numbers. Oh, it does. It has 37 chapters. So I want to do this in 20 days. I'm going to cheat and say 37 is here. I'm going to list the first page as 1 and the last page is 37. I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to put here, actually I'm going to go HP, what book did I say this one is? Goblet of Fire. Read chapter 1 through, and then I'm going to click OK. And now it's going to just divide up my chapters. So we've had people ask why they can't do chapters instead of pages. You can just put in any measurement you want. Is that a fair way to explain that, Joe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, seems right.
And then I'm going to hit save and close, and I have that book. Now, this little blue tab that says show both is there because I have 2 children in this class, but I like my calendar as neat as possible. In fact, I actually like to go by the week, preferably for me personally, than the month. And so I can hit show both and it gives me a pop-up. The way I got to that setting was by going to settings, and then you have across the top, we should run through these really quick even though I'm going out of order. You have general, which you can pick a date format depending on, I guess, where you live in the world. You can set what your normal daytime hours are. Why I think 9 p.m. is daytime hours, I'm not exactly sure. I like my week to start Sunday because that's what I'm used to calendars, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. However, you can put them however you want. You can have it start on Monday and put your weekend at the end, or you can move your weekend to the beginning. Your daily digests that push out to your students and yourself, you can send the time and you can pick what day to send your weekly digest. I actually thought I had them on Sunday. Again, this is me messing with things. If a child has no work, I don't need them to get a daily digest. Some people like the blank template. School info, we're going to skip past that so you don't all call me at home all the time. But you can put in the information as you want it to appear on your transcripts, on your grade reports, even though you can override those settings and change them. I'm going to not talk about helpers yet because I'm going to have you talk about those in a minute, Joe. And then for your display, so my family right here is right where that says my family. So I'm going to change it to say Calvi Fam. You can choose what size, how blind you are, how large you want your fonts and type. But this box right here, all that talking right now was to get to this. Display one checkbox for shared assignments. I have it set to yes because I just want to see the assignment once. I don't want to see chapter 1 through 2 for Catherine or for Hope, and then chapter 1 through 2 for Juliana. But if I don't want it that way, it'll change so I get 2 completely separate boxes. And then you can also set whether you want your timed events to come first in the day or your events with no particular time. Moving over to the next tab, school years is where you saw me earlier, create a school calendar. Subjects are where you should actually name your subjects. So I'm actually gonna get rid of that crazy random subject I have. And then categories we're gonna jump to in a few minutes, which are the different things that you may do. Meal planning, community service hours are great to track there. Meals, work. Grading, I have a slew of categories because I've been using Homeschool Planet a long time, and you can always add them here. You can also add them while you're making a lesson plan. I need a breath. Tracking class hours. There's so many things, and I feel like I'm trying to not be scattered, but good grief. Tracking class hours. If you want to track hours for your classes, here's where your general setup is. Joe, do you want to describe the difference so I can get a sip of water between assignment method and class method?
Yeah, so the assignment method is for each assignment that you put in a class, you can record a time that you expect it to take and then the time it actually took. And it'll count up how much time your student has spent doing those assignments, and that'll be the total for the class. Or you can say, just for each class a day, I'm going to specify how much time we expect to spend, and then how much we actually spent for the class for that day, and that will be the total that we report when you do a report of class hours. So sometimes you have assignments, there's no specific class time, it's just something they're going to do that day, and it might be a half hour or 3 hours or however long your student's going to spend on it. And then you do the assignment method so you could have it widely varying from day to day what they're doing. And other times it's just they're going to spend an hour doing math, and that's an hour that we're going to report. So okay. Whichever way is easier for you.
All right. Sharing is one of people's favorite features. You can share in your Ical calendar or your Google Calendar. We have a tutorial about doing that on our Q&A, but basically you seek the Ical address and you paste it in, and then that will appear. You can choose who it is visible to. You can have multiple calendars. Right now I have birthdays and anniversaries visible to myself, Hope, and Juliana, but I can change that if I wish. Or I can also share out. Oh yeah, this is definitely demo. You can share out your Homeschool Planet calendar to your Ical or Google or third-party calendar as you wish. And you create a calendar, it gives you a link. Once you hit save, you go paste that into the calendar you're sending it to. I'm not going to mess with that because who knows what I've done already. Theme and colors, we hear you. You all love lots of pretty themes. This is my current fave, and we have been trying to add them regularly. If you want to change the background, you literally just go to themes, click one, hit save, and then it's done. Colors can be used in multiple ways to mark things. In my home, I have assigned a different color to each subject area. So all my language arts courses are green, whether it's vocabulary or spelling or literature or whatever it may be. And I have math is this purpley blue, and I have science is orange. I don't know why, they're just the colors I like to use. They're what I think of with those. You can set them up as a stripe across the top to identify subjects. You can make them a full bold background if you like. You can do a rectangle down the side. You can do a little dot there in the corner, or you can say, yeah, give me plain, give me black and white. You can also adjust for classes, your students, how they are identified. Now I'm actually going to go, and these things are pretty self-explanatory. The issue, of course, is knowing they're there. There are so many options in Homeschool Planet, and we're so glad you're here. But honestly, my biggest recommendation is get in and play with it. Make a fake class, make a fake lesson plan, make a fake student, and play with the things so you can see how they do, because there are so many options. And there are these options for calendar view as well as planner view. And I'll show the difference between those in a minute. But for now, I am going to change to this theme. So I'm going to hit save. And this is my new backdrop. Okay. I want to circle back just so I can make life confusing for everyone, because I saw on the side a question come in about, can students have individual logins? Yes, absolutely. So this is my fake account for Catherine@notrealemail.com. First, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to track attendance for her, which means basically each day it's going to assume she was present unless I say she wasn't or I realize she wasn't. And this lets me create attendance reports that I can submit. And then I'm going to give her the ability to log in on her own. So I'm going to make up a password really clever, like password. And then when she logs in using the email I gave her, which is Catherine@notrealemail.com, and the password, she will then log in and she will see only her assignments by default. But I can allow her to edit her own classes if she wishes, to view her grades, to assign her grades, to record the amount of time spent for herself or for anyone else. So Carolyn, who you watched me archive early in the demo, actually graduated from high school a couple years ago, but she taught a Latin class to her sister last year. So I had given her the ability to log in and completely edit her younger sister's classes, grades, and see that. But you can control what they see. You also get to decide whether they can see and update widgets. And so I'm going to uncheck that. Well, I'll check it because it actually is checked for all my kids because they like their own widgets and backdrops and things. So yes, students can absolutely have a login. If they do not have their own email address, they will, and you don't specify one in their basic info, if you just leave it blank, they can log in using your email, the primary holder's account email, but they have to have a different password. And you can change that at any time. Do I have that right, Joe?
Once again, I was answering Q&A
I know,
questions.
sorry. I was saying students can log in without their own email using the primary account holder's email. They just have to have a different password than the primary holder's password.
We can
I think that's one of our number one customer service issues that come through. So yes, they can log in. If they have their own email, that's great. The daily digest will be pushed to them there. If you want them to go to, you don't want them to have, or they don't have their own email yet, that's fine, but they have to have a separate password. So I'm going to click save and close. I have not confirmed any of those numbers because, well, 5551212 is, again, fake.
Hard to text.
Yes. Okay. Let's jump from lesson plans or classes, which are for academic activities, to activities. And so I'm going to go click. If I have birthdays I want to put in, I just go in and I say, Hope's birthday. It is, add a category. Events, we'll call our events bright pink. Okay. It's actually going to happen every year on July the 12th. My baby will be 16 this Sunday. So now her birthday is going to appear every year. It's an all-day event, obviously. I'm going to save and close. Boom. Now I have a nice little reminder of Hope's birthday on that day. But and you can put in anything that's basically static like that and repeating. Everything else is for things like my girls happen to be dancers. So I'm going to put in Monday dance schedule. I'm going to call the category dance. I'm going to assign this to Hope. This is going to be an every Monday event starting on, I'm going to go back, I'm going to start this on Monday. And for right now, there is not an end date. And I'm going to say she has class. Actually, I'm going to go like this again, so we don't get in the car at the wrong time today, just to be safe. 3:45, it's an hour and a half class, so I'm going to change that to 5:15 p.m. Oops, what did I do? And then I'm going to say that that is ballet 4-5, add. So now ballet 4-5 is added to every Monday beginning on 7/13 into perpetuity at 3:45. Save and close. And so we can track when she's going to dance. But you can add any activities that you wish to add. Anything I should add about that, Joe?
Nope, I think that was good.
Okay. What are other, widgets. Let's cover those super fast, and then let's get to questions people have about how to do things after we do a quick rescheduling helper. We didn't even talk about reports yet. Oh my. Messages. Anyone who has I'm going to send I'll send it to myself so no one gets confused. I'm going to text message myself. Oh, the grocery list one. I got to do that. But I'm sending a text message to myself, so I'll have it. And then it pops up on my Here's my personal phone, HSP text, it says test because I just sent it to my phone, which is great for lists. But even better for lists is you can, I'm going to make a shopping list. I used to have several in here. Here's my Costco shopping list, which has all these fun things, vanilla almond milk, Trek mix, ranch. I've got everything on it. I'm going to send this, and I'm going to decide who to send it to, and I'm going to text it to myself and hit send. And that's great and helpful. It's even better if you can send it to your husband. But better than that is that when I am at Costco and I do not have my Costco shopping list, I have this number saved in my phone. And if I text the word shop Costco, it automatically retrieves my Costco shopping list and I have it while I'm at Costco instead of buying 1,000 things I don't need. Do I have that right? Joe's answering other questions. No, I do.
Yep, but I was listening this time and you had it right.
Awesome. 89 degrees at my house today. Oh, the joys. There are also to-do lists. There's by default a to-do list for everyone in your family, and you can add more of those if you wish. And we actually do have tutorials up for these on our user guide site that we are developing. Okay, so those are a ton of basics, but the thing people love Homeschool Planet for is the Rescheduling Helper. So the Rescheduling Helper can be set to launch automatically each day. So you go to bed on Tuesday night, and when you get up Wednesday, everything's been moved for you automatically if you want, or you can bring it up yourself. So if I select Rescheduling Helper from the helping menu, it's going to go through all my stuff, which I should have done earlier because I probably have loads of them because I've done a slew of demos lately. So this could be a minute. It's going to go through all the different pieces that are finished or unfinished, and it's going to give you some basic options. It's going to give you the option to never see this one again, which means it's just never going to ask you again, do you want to mark off, clean the bathroom again? Or it's going to give you the option to mark so it's going to have serial dots across the top, and you can say they are all complete. Or you can mark some. I'm going to tell it I want to reschedule overdue assignments only. And we've had a lot of questions come in. Can people, I don't know if I just hit cancel or if I hit this. I shouldn't talk and do things at the same time. At any rate, what it's going to do, it's going to retrieve all, I know, Joe's laughing. We're going to end up having a board meeting about me and my chaos after this is all done. So, oh, that's terrible. Robin's the one not doing things. But at any rate, the first option, ask me next time and leave it as it is for now. After that, never show it again. Don't ask me. Mark it complete. Delete this item, like completely get rid of it altogether. Now, the two options, carry forward and leave the rest of the schedule alone, means that your items will be from Tuesday, if it's Wednesday, will be moved to Wednesday, but none of the rest of your schedule will be impacted. In other words, on Wednesday, you will now have Tuesday's assignments that were incomplete and Wednesday's assignments. Or you can say, carry forward and shift the schedule by one day, meaning Tuesday's assignments move to Wednesday, Wednesday's assignments move to Thursday, Thursday's move to Friday, etc. So you can pick any, oh look, it's all dance stuff from when we went on lockdown. At any rate, I'm going to actually close this without making any selections so as to not.
Wait, don't
close.
Oh,
you want me to go to customize?
Nope. I just want to talk about those buttons at the top.
Yeah. Oh.
And an easy way to when you have a lot like this, often the easiest thing to do is to click one of the mark all buttons at the top of the column. So if you could click ask me next time there at the top, that'll mark them all. And then you can go and just mark the ones that you really wanted to work on this time.
Right.
To do whatever you want to do.
So
and the others will come up next time you run it.
Right. 80%.
The other option is never show this again for everything, because you don't want to ever deal with them. You just want to leave them on the calendar undone where they are. So you say, never show this one again, and then you mark off the ones that you really wanted to do something with.
I may or may not have had a dispute with a child about their chores where when I had chosen to say mark complete to make it go away. And then they said, look, Mom, I did do it that week and that week. Oh, look, I've done this every week you've assigned it. And I was like, no, I hit a button. But anyway, so I don't ever hit that again anymore. I thought you were going to say go to the customize button where you can bring up a subset if you've, so I can say, I just want to see Hope's events. And then it will just give me a list because maybe I'm working on her records before I'm working on someone else's. So now everything it lists for me is Hope. And I can mark those, hit OK, go in and do the next kid.
There are two specific things I'd like to get to. You don't have to do them now. I don't know what you've got planned here. I would like to show people how to split apart joint assignments so you can see them each individually. And also the never show, the always do this and stop asking the options.
Okay. So what do you want me to do?
If you're okay with me doing those now,
yep,
I can just talk about them now.
Okay.
So,
you want me to close this or?
Yeah, close it and open it again with your full list. Really have to keep on top of your assignments there, Robin. And not do this while you're on Zoom. And
I know.
Zoom.
The combo is a pretty deadly item. I should have thought to do that this morning, but at least I had items in my shopping list.
That's true.
Of course, they're the same things we always need. My children eat enough ranch dressing for 40 people. We could play the Jeopardy theme song. So I'm looking, there's Q&A and there's chat, and you're just handling all the things. This is great. Okay, which one do you want me to hit?
The top one is, actually do the second one so that I can get some of those assignments for Hope and Juliana in case they're not on there. Okay.
Hopefully they have nothing assigned in the middle of
actually, that's in the future. That's not even today, so that won't matter.
Oh, got it. Wait, I have a feeling I know how to, I'm just realizing when you said split them apart, I don't know if I know what you mean. So this might be a tutorial for me too. Okay, now what?
So we'll start with the second item for Mom and Juju time. You see how it's one option for both of them, but if you click on their names right there, then it splits it into a row with one for each student, so you can mark it complete for one student and not for the other.
Oh, wait, how did I not know that?
It's not a really well done feature, I must say. It's kind of mysterious that you click on those names. On the calendar, it says show both. It's very clear. But here, there was less room, I guess, and we did it. We went with it that way.
Okay, I feel totally put on blast. I swear I spent time with my kid. This was our special carve apart time while Hope's in dance class, and we're together. But there was no dance class for, multiple months.
All right, and then go to the top.
Hold on. And so then if I click it again, does it put them back together?
It will not. No, you'll just have to mark them each.
Now I've got double the work. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, next.
So now, if you want to just keep track of things but not have to do this every day, you can choose one of the mark all options at the top the first time you do it. Say you always carry things forward and leave the schedule alone. You just bump it to the next day and don't shuffle anything out. You can check that. And then at the bottom, before you click OK, there's an option there that says always do this. And so what will happen is every morning when you log in, the rescheduling helper will run, but it won't pop up the little box. It'll just pretend you opened it, check that button to carry them all forward, and said OK. So it'll automatically move them. And you can do that with mark complete if you'd rather just mark them complete and leave them where they are and not bother with tracking completion and that sort of thing. Or you can say ignore it and leave them, or you can say never bother me again. Any of the things you choose, you can say always do that. And then it'll do that in the morning when you first log in.
And once you've done that, if you change your mind, you can reset it from the helpers menu
Yes, in the
settings, correct?
Correct.
I do know that. All right, but I really don't want to do that. So I'm going to zero out of this. Okay, are we done with Rescheduling Helper for the moment, do you think? Or what are other questions people ask that we should cover while we're right in here?
Those are all the ones that I can think of that people have previously asked.
Okay, and I'm going to close that out. The grading helper, do I get like a gold star? I have
Keeping all your
no
grading
ungraded assignments because my school year's over, but if I had ungraded assignments, it would bring them up so I could quickly go through and enter grades. But they're all graded. I feel so excited. So I'm going to click OK. Let's chat about reports for just a minute. My goal was to be through basic intro, and then we'll jump to some other questions that need to be answered. Because people have asked a lot about printing. So basically, the print button right here on your screen will always print what you see on your screen, either in black and white if you choose economy print, or in color if you choose color print. So, and Saturday and Sunday can be toggled off and on when you click either side. So when I'm printing, unless we have big Saturday events, and I happen to like this view, I go ahead and turn off Saturday and Sunday. Use Condensed View is this little tiny thing on the bottom that I feel like makes a huge difference in layout for me, online and printing. It takes it so you have one calendar as opposed to having your untimed events and timed events separately. So I always have it set, and you can set to full text, abbreviated, no text, meaning you just see that there is a subject, but I'm going to go to, I just want to see it all. And so if I hit economy print, it's going to go to my printer, and it's going to give me, in my case, because I'm using an HP printer with this, a preview of what is to come in black and white. I'm actually going to cancel that. Or if I do in color. If I am, instead of in this mode, in what we call planner mode, where it's done like this, same thing. I'm going to hit print economy. It's going to ask me, do I want to? And it's going to give me my preview of what it looks that way. Obviously, if you're doing by the week, there is a lot more white space this way than if you're just in calendar view. Now, if you really just want a succinct list of the assignments to be complete.
Before you get there, could I throw one more thing in?
Anything.
If you don't want to see everybody's schedule on everything, you can use the show calendars for here and limit it that way. And then just the things you've selected will be shown, and that's what will be printed.
Yeah, so I'm going to go back to where, so this is just Hope's work for that week. And you can actually even hit more options and distill it down even further. I can say, I don't want to see her language, geography, like I only want to see these subjects. And then that's all that will appear. The key being, whatever you can see on your screen is what is going to print.
Right.
That is the key, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to actually go back. And so now it also gives me this little exclamation point to let me know you hit a whole bunch of things. So I'm going to clear all of those and close and go back to everyone. And then I'm going to go up here to reports. The first one is assignment lists. Felt like I had a list when I said that. And that's going to pull up a much more streamlined list of what assignments need to be done. Of course, if I don't have any assignments for today, will it bring up anything?
Not unless you change the dates.
Okay, let me go to today. Well, actually, let me not go to today since today has nothing.
If you're doing a report, you'll have to change the dates because the default for the assignment is the most
Is going to
recent.
be, okay.
Yeah.
So let me go to assignment list, and that will give me, I feel like I'm missing assignments I put in. Do I have everything turned off? Oh. Hello. No. Where's my calendar, Joe?
You're just looking at Hope and Juliana.
Oh, there it goes. It just needed to. Oh, because it's still too early. Sorry, I don't start school till here. Just ignore me. I do know when we're doing, oh gosh, here's all these apparently I didn't have time with Hope either. But I'm going to customize this list, and I'm going to say I want to print right now all of Hope's assignments, and I'm going to pick that I want to pick a specific date, which is going to be for the week of August 3rd until August. Oh, that's still going to be too soon. Let me go to when we actually do school. August 31st to September 4th. Boom. I'm going to do not just uncompleted, but any status, and click OK. And then it's going to give me this list of what her assignments are for that week, which has a fake dance class and some reading. And when I hit print, it'll print her out a list that just says that breaks it down depending on what you choose here, first by student, then class, or by class, then student, or by date. So you can say, no, I want everything for Monday, then Tuesday, then Wednesday. Or there's these 5 different ways you can have it sort your information. If I was doing only Hope, if I was doing multiple students, I can say, yes, start a new page for each child. And then you hit print and you get a much more streamlined report of the assignments. Now, in my mind, this is for assignments my children need to do, but many people use it for assignments which have been completed. Either they're a member of a charter school or an ISP or some type of umbrella school. And so you can go in and I can say, oh, I need to turn in Hope's work that she completed from April 6th to April 27th. Any status, and then I click OK, and then it's going to generate a list of what she did. And maybe I don't want her dance list on there. And again, I can organize, I'm going to go by date. So it tells someone if I need to turn in for recording purposes what she did on particular days. Did I get all that right? Yeah. Anything else I should say about that?
If there's a particular set of, when you customize the report, if you find yourself doing the same customizations every time, you can save the report and just give it a name, and then it'll show up in your report list, so you can just pull that up immediately.
Yeah.
If you have specific students and you always want to see, the rest of this week or what happened last week, you can set those things up and then save it.
Awesome. You can also generate your class hours reports, what hours you've been tracking. Actually, I'm going to go. And the layout will be, so you designate whether each subject, meaning math, English, foreign language, is a core subject or a non-core subject. And that is because many people, many organizations that take your data need to know separate core data from elective type courses or extracurricular activities. And you can designate that yourself. I don't think I ever track hours. But now I got all these reports going. I always tell my children, stop clicking over things. And they're like, Mom, you are the great over clicker. Because in my brain, it will make it work faster, even though it will make it work slower.
Yeah.
Okay.
Zoom, definitely Zoom challenge today.
Okay, let's talk about the difference between a report card and a grade report. A report card gives you the grade you received in a class, like the final grade, whereas a grade report, you can do a breakdown of the individual assignments and grades. So if you just want to show someone what work you completed, you want an assignment list. If you want to show them what the scores your children got are, then you want a grade report. I should have clicked that before I started blabbering. And that'll show you a breakdown, which again, you can customize to one child, to all your children, to English subjects. So if I customize this and I say, I just want to know what Hope got in her math class because I need to report that for some reason. There we go. There's her summary. Or I can do it by detail, which will give me literally her score on every single assignment that she did. So I can look and say, okay, she got an 83 on section 12.1.3 rotations day 1. She must just love me right now. And again, you can customize by dates to say end of the week, beginning of, to go for the month, rather than May 1st to May 31st. If you say beginning of this month end, those are the type of reports you want to save. And you can bring up graded or ungraded or both. I'm actually going to cancel because I'm doing all these things to our data. Okay, I'm going to breathe. What else are basic things I should touch on? We're already at 1:08, so let's go ahead and jump straight to questions we need to answer for people, Joe.
All righty. Let's see. I've been trying to answer them by typing the answers as we've gone, so anybody who's interested can look at the answered section of questions and answers. There's a few that would be good to show logging in as a student if you're in a position to do that. A couple of people have asked to see what that looks like.
Yep.
There are specific questions about lesson plans and what's coming.
Let's hope I know my kids' passwords. Ooh, I do, and it's saved, so I don't have to know it. So this is me logging in as though I were my daughter Hope, who apparently likes ice cream cones and uses a different background than me. So she sees the whole family here, but then it will only show her tomorrow. Tomorrow is my nephew's birthday. Good to know. And Shelby's, Jimmy's, and Deanya's if anyone's interested. But actually I should show you. So this is, I had shown the feature earlier of how to share in a Google Calendar. So I have a Google Calendar that is anniversaries and birthdays. And whenever you see these diagonal stripes, that means that is a shared in Google Calendar. So Hope gets to know.
Or Apple Calendar.
Or Apple, Calendar. Yeah, Apple Calendar. Well, actually it is an Apple Calendar in my case. Mm-hmm. But, so let's go back to where she actually had school assignments during the school year. So this would be what she logged in and saw. Her history, language, foreign language, electives, driver's ed that she couldn't complete because the DMV was closed. And she sees just her items unless I chose to give her other options. And she can also filter down and get rid of categories if she wishes to do so for her view. But I'm not going to have her do that. And she can also go in and print her own schedule for that week. And there she has it. If I've forgot, well, my kids don't use the printed ones anymore, but in the days when they used printed and I forgot, they would log in and print it out themselves. Anything else I should show about a student login?
I think that should do it. They just wanted to see what it looks like and whether they could see what they could see and how they could check things off. And you can set it up. I wasn't completely listening, so I apologize if I'm repeating, but you could set it up so that students could enter their own grades. Older students can, maybe edit their own schedules. If you have them just recording what work they did, they can edit it as they go and that sort of thing.
And so Hope has the privilege to view her grades. She can click here and it brings up the grades she got. But when she clicks, nothing happens. She is not allowed to change her grades, because that's the privileges I assigned to her.
Right.
Should I log back in as me? Are you thinking any other questions are going to be?
I'm trying to look through the list. They keep coming in.
I know. Is it possible to have a school year start at a different times for different children? So a summer class can be counted for 9th grade for one child and 11th grade for another child.
Right. I've answered similar questions already in the Q&A, but I'll summarize. The school year is used as a convenience. It lets you schedule classes easily. It lets the rescheduling helper know which days are good days to move assignments to when it's rescheduling. It makes it so the reports know when semesters begin and end and how to add up all the grades correctly. In pretty much every case, you can change all that and say to do it for whatever date you want. So you can only set up one school year, but you can then do all your scheduling and reporting using any dates and days that you really want. So I would recommend, if you have different schedules for different students, the one you anticipate doing the most shuffling of assignments and rescheduling of things is the one I would set the school year up for. And the other one, you'll have to do a little more work when you reschedule things and generate reports. As for the summer school, you can, if you're worried about how it applies to grading, you can include extra classes in the grades for whatever semester or period you want to do. So you could just leave them in the summer, and then when you generate your reports or your transcripts or your report cards, you can add those in.
Got it. I'm looking at my last email from John. Someone asked when the Conceptual Academy lesson plans will be available. Junior high, he told me last Friday, is completely done. So actually, when I am done with this meeting, I will go in and finish the proof on those and get our screenshots done, and they will be available, I would guess, by Wednesday or Thursday at the latest of this week. And he said he is expecting to have all of them complete by the 15th. And so I would expect by July 19th or 20th, they should all be in the marketplace, but junior high will be there first. I think I can give a general, sometimes we know, well, I should know when we have all lesson plans coming out. Here's the deal. We have added 800 plans this year, so we're up to a little over 1,800. We are developing them as fast as we are able. What we have found is we always prioritize publishers who come to us, just, like you do. So someone comes and says, hey, we love your program. We would like to do lesson plans with you. We're working with them before we're reaching out to other people. We do look at your comments and your requests. We just are never going to turn someone away and say, yeah, we're going after someone better first, because, well, that's poor character. And we have been inundated recently. But send us your comments. But also, honestly, one of the quickest ways to get us to develop lesson plans is when publishers come to us. Because again, we're never going to say, yeah, no thanks, we want this person instead. Yeah, does that make sense? That sounded weird, but we've been asked this before. Can you wipe out your whole planner, clean, and start over?
Not with a click of a button. But you can go you go to the beginning of where you'd like sort of a blank slate and just start clicking on things and hitting delete from this point forward.
Okay.
So, Robin, if you could find something that you don't mind risking a deletion of.
Wait, what am I?
We're not going to click the button, but I want to show the button. But just in case you get click happy,
Just in
click
case.
on something you don't care if it goes away. Here.
How about we delete our fake dance schedule? So yeah, you click the title. And this is, I think people are super afraid, like what's going to happen if I hit delete. But if you hit delete, you get a pop-up. You can say, whoops, never meant to hit that. Yes, just take out this week or take out every week going forward. And this says week because this is set as a weekly event. It would normally say just today if it was a daily event, or every day going forward. Every week means beginning to end. So if I click this every week, then it asks me again, are you sure? Because, you know, I'm going to hit yes. And now that fake dance class is gone from my schedule.
Right. But if you had selected, if you wanted to keep the past and just start with a blank going forward, then you would choose from this day forward, every day going forward. And you do that for each thing on your calendar. It takes a little while. I apologize. Would be nice if there were a button, but.
If I go down to time with mom and I click delete and I say every week going forward, because I don't know it didn't happen after lockdown. Now it's gone there, but if I go back a week, well, didn't do it that week either, but it's still there on the week previous. My old records, in other words, and I can see those by going into edit, are still there. All right, save and close. What are other questions that people have asked? Do you have a support group outside of Facebook or social media? We have the Facebook group. We have our user guide, which we're rapidly trying to develop. We have our customer service team. They are awesome, really awesome. And I jump in a ton to remind myself it's like the hardest job in the history of the universe. And we really appreciate our team. But we do not have another group outside that. I'm not sure what that would look like, but send us a ticket and talk about what you'd like to see. If I entered without a time component, is it possible to later assign to a specific time? Yes. Meaning tracking, well, I wonder if that means tracking and hours or.
Well, we can do both of them.
Yeah.
Certainly the time that the class is scheduled for, you can change at any time you like going forward for a particular day, for a particular day of the week. You just edit the class. Why don't you go ahead and edit the class?
Sorry, I'm confused by looking at the times of people who, it's not within the window we're here, but okay. Oop, sorry. Edit.
So if you edit the class and then you click on change schedule up the top there, you can change the class time on a particular date, if that's what you'd like to do, and then you can move a specific day. This was at no particular time. You could move it to a specific time. You could change it from a specific time to a different specific time to no particular time at all. You can change it any way you like. And then if you want to make bigger changes, if we click change schedule again, then you can change the schedule in other ways at the bottom, and then you can just make arbitrary changes. You can change it so Thursday's no longer a class day and Saturday is, and Friday is no longer not a particular time. It's from 3 to 5. You can change the daily schedule. And you can choose to have that change start at any point and continue until any point.
I think sometimes people forget the default up here is from when you clicked, but you choose when this change you're making is going to happen. Right. And how long it's going to go into effect. Maybe you're going on vacation and grandma's going to meet with the kids for math for 2 weeks while you're off in Europe, and you need to change it just for that window of time.
Right.
But I'm going to hit again, cancel, because.
So The other question, the other possibility, I'm not sure, is if you want to change the tracking of time for a class, you have to turn time tracking on for a class with that button. And then once it's on, though, then you can arbitrarily go and change the time. So you can enter a default time for assignments. It'll ask you if you want to update things that had already had times
from
assigned.
30 to 45 on these,
Mhm.
except I'm not really going to do that.
Yeah. Right. You really should get a different
I
account.
have one called Robin Demo, but it doesn't have so much info in it.
Yeah, it's not as rich as your real calendar for your kids.
Real
I know.
people. I know. I've tried. It's just
But
easier
yeah, then
to
you
use.
can go through back on the assignments tab.
Wait, what am I doing?
Go to the shared assignments, and then you can change the times to whatever you like.
Yep.
And if you didn't put one in, you can go back and change it. So as much as possible, Homeschool Planet tries to not get in your way of making it record your homeschooling the way that you're actually doing it. It tries to be as helpful as possible. So it asks you to set up your school year so it can move things around for you, and what days you usually teach on, so that it can schedule things out for you. But if you really just want it to be different days, you can just go in and change it to match what you're actually going to do.
Someone is writing in about subjects, and I know I did this at one point because I used to have everything was a subject. And first she said she made a mess of subjects in the past, and she wants to go in and edit them and delete things that shouldn't be subjects. But if you have something called, French, and you go in and delete the subject French, what happens to your class that was under the subject of French?
I'm testing that right now. I believe it is, yes. The class, when you delete a subject, we mark it as deleted so that it goes away from your list, but it's still there.
Okay.
So that the class that was using it still says that.
Okay.
And if you want to change that class to be a different thing, if you want to get rid of, French and change it to be language arts or whatever, then you'll have to edit that particular class and select a new subject for it. And you'll see when you go to the list, the subject that it currently is will be on the list, but italics, and you can't choose it as a new subject for another class. It'll just be in the class it's already assigned to. You could see it, but as soon as you change it and save it, you can't see it anymore.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I went through and took all my, I'd not Google, if we use that term, I would search Spanish, French, Latin. I had one kid that my oldest did Mandarin, and then I would just change the subject there first to foreign language, and then after I went through and deleted all my crazy subject names. What else have you not answered that's been up? I don't know what you have and haven't.
Assigning a book for the week, but not on a specific day. Not exactly, but there are a few things you can do. One, you can assign it for the first day of the week and let your student know that they can do it anytime that week, and have the rescheduling helper just keep moving it until they check it off as complete. Another is if you don't need them to check it off as an assignment, you just want them to know that that's the book for the week, you can add it as a resource to the class for that particular week. So if you could edit a class, Robin.
Yep. Let me pick a class.
If you go to the resources tab, those are resources for the class as a whole, and you can assign a resource. So you wanted a book, but do you have any books in your resource list, or can we just?
I'm sure I do. I have,
Yeah, search for a book of some sort.
Let's see.
These are
What-
math resources, that's why.
Yeah, they
Oh
are.
no, all resources showing there. Just pick a website. It's good enough for now.
Okay. Boom.
So, but you would add a book resource for the book and say okay, and then you can see for the resource you can say who gets to see it. Probably everybody. It's the easiest thing for now. But then you can change the date.
Manual, probably just the teacher.
Right. And then you can change the dates to be the date that week that you want this book to be the book that they use.
Okay.
Again, that doesn't give them a checkbox, so it may not be exactly what you want. But that's
well, and I do the opposite of what you said, putting it on Monday and letting them bump out all week. I put science, it's about 2.5 hours they have to do during the week, and I just say have it done by Friday. So I list it on Friday. You just have to have it done before.
And you could use the, as my friend used to call it, the belt and suspenders approach. You could put the assignment on Friday and then put the book as a resource all week so that they know that that's the book for the week. And on Friday, they check it off if they've done it.
Yeah. What else? I'm looking at Q&A, which is separate from the chat, right? Because now I got 3 screens going and things all over the place.
Yeah.
Time component. Oh, well, you know, the big elephant in the room. You want to take it or you want me to?
What's that, the app?
Yes.
Yes. We have an app in development. Part of the issue is chasing the features of Homeschool Planet as they change and trying to figure out how to get something like that editing screen down into a phone-sized usable product. We're thinking that we will first come out with something that replicates what you can do now with the mobile web version. So currently, if you go on your phone and you open a browser and you go to Homeschool Planet and you log in, you get to your planner, you get a limited version that lets you see your schedule and check things off. And it is a website, so it's not as smooth as an app. You can choose. There's an option in the browser that says save this page to my home as a home icon. So you can put an icon on your phone to launch it quickly and get to Homeschool Planet. But I do understand it would be much better if there were an app that launched the way that all the other apps do. And so we have something in the works, and it is there's a lot of stuff in Homeschool Planet. So getting it all into an app has been challenging.
Our greatest strength is our greatest weakness. Yeah, there's so many things. I think people don't get it's that screen. It took me until you finally said it's the screen real estate. Being able to have all these drop-down options for pieces on, you know, something this big.
There's a lot of things you hover over and they tell you stuff, and you click on them and stuff pops up, which is just challenging to get into the tiny little phone.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are at 1:30. So I will go through these questions and see which ones I am able to answer that are still open. We are so grateful to all of you for being with us and taking the time to learn about the product. Send your requests into, you know, it's support@homeschoolplanet.com, and we really do appreciate all of you. So we are super grateful that you were here with us, and have a great summer.
Bye all. Thanks.